Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Two Player Podcast with Matt Likes Games and Ham Solo. Enjoy the show.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Two Player Podcast with myself, Matt Likes Games, and my buddy Ham Solo 05 Gaming here. Bud, how you doing? What you been up to? What you been playing?
Oh, I mean, I've been all right, just hanging out, playing games, same old. Not a whole lot different. Yeah, I really don't have a whole lot to say other than some of the news that came on. I don't want to spoil it quite yet, but
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I get that. And we'll be definitely getting into it. As for myself, just keeping it brief. Good. Everything's good. Playing a lot of Fallout. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I played a little bit of Starfield today, just because news around that and everything, but mostly just Fallout. But speaking of Starfield, I think we should start there because there's a big update coming this month, May 15th, for Starfield. That includes for Series X players a performance mode. And in fact, it includes a variety of different modes if you are also on a VRR display, which I know I am. I know you are, Ham. But 30 FPS and 60 FPS modes will be available to everybody on Series X. So this is huge news because I know for the longest time I was someone who said, like, if they get 60 FPS working for Starfield on console, that would be a miracle. Well, miracles exist apparently, because here we are. It's been announced that we will be getting a 60 FPS mode for Starfield on Xbox Series X, among other things in this update that's coming later this month. But that's the big thing. I know you play a lot on Series X. I play a lot on Series X. So I want to start with you. How are you feeling? Are you excited to hop back into Starfield at 60 FPS on console?
Well, not really because I'm not excited to hop back into it because I'm already in it. If that makes any sense.
Yes.
So, I see a lot of people saying kind of that sentiment, like, I can't wait to get back into Starfield or Starfield is back or and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, like hasn't ever left for me.
Yeah,
So
for
like
sure.
I don't share that sentiment, but I am 100% more interested than I have been to continue to keep playing. So it's kind of where
Mhm.
I know that's kind of being finicky, but whatever.
No, you're fine. I mean, I'm just excited to see it at 60 FPS on console. Because like I said, I thought for sure this I mean, I don't want to say I thought for sure it wasn't possible because I guess anything technically is possible, but I figured this would be very highly unlikely. Like just like not even worth thinking about. And well, like I said, apparently I wonder how they're getting there, honestly. I think probably FSR3 is probably helping, I would assume. That being implemented probably helps a lot. But there will be multiple modes. I know, like I said, VRR displays. I have one, you have one. So if you're on a VRR display, you can choose between 30 FPS, the baseline for Starfield. You can choose between 40 FPS, 60 FPS, and then there's also an uncapped mode, which I guess probably sometimes goes above 60 FPS, but I certainly wouldn't expect 120 FPS if that's what you're thinking at home. So I wouldn't expect that, but it's good to see we're getting all these modes for Starfield on Series X. Series S seems to be unchanged, and that doesn't really surprise me. I don't think you're going to get Starfield running at 60 FPS on a Series S. I don't. I'll say it right now. I don't think that's possible. I do not think that's possible. But for the Series X, we got this update coming later this month. And on top of this performance option, or the new performance
Can't
options,
wait.
yeah, on top of this new performance option we have on Series X, there's actually a bunch of things that are being changed, or not being changed. Well, some of them being changed, and some things being added for Starfield. I want to start with what was what was one of the biggest gripes for a lot of people. I didn't really mind it so much because I was using the scanner more often to travel to places, but the world map. I don't know if you had any issue with the world map when the game first launched. How like there wasn't when you opened up the surface map for an area, there wasn't many choices to fast travel. Like you couldn't fast travel to the weapon store, for example. You had to fast travel to the whatever district in Atlantis, in New Atlantis. You
Right.
couldn't travel to specific store. Well, with this update, they're going to change it so every store, every place of purchase has an icon that you can travel to on the surface map. On top of adding, terrain detail to show you what that surface actually looks like and everything. And let me bring that up here on the stream for you guys because there is a pretty good picture here of what to expect with this update to the map. So there it is. You can see the surface detail. You can see what New Atlantis looks like, kind of from a drone shot, I guess you would call that. But that's what we're going to be working with this new surface map. So I'm looking forward to that. I know I don't like I said, I don't know if you had any issues with it. In fact, let me ask you, did you have any issues with the surface map for
I
Starfield
didn't really
1?
use it that much.
You didn't use it that much. I get
I
that.
just turned on the thing that gives you the scan kind of
Yeah.
thing that gives you that immediately puts the
Like
machine in your
icons.
hand. The
Yeah.
what is it called? The mining machine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just
Uh,
turned on that screen and used that to fast travel usually and just looked into the direction that I wanted to go. I didn't go into the actual map thing that they're gonna 3D out and make it look
yeah.
better and whatnot. Which it looks like it's gonna be pretty cool, but I can't say that I'm gonna use it more
Sure. I'm
because
hoping
of the
that with
update.
this
I'll definitely check it out though.
I'm hoping that with the scanner I'm hoping they add all this stuff to the scanner. Like I can fast travel to a restaurant, to a weapon store, to a health like a health clinic or whatever via my scanner. I think that would be pretty cool, as opposed to traveling, like I said, to individual districts in New Atlantis or wherever else you're at. But that's one of the big updates coming with this newest update, May 15th. The next one is actually, I have it here. They're also adding an extreme difficulty.
Yeah.
I don't. That sounds fucking intense because
Well, they're
as
adding a couple
someone,
things in that facade, or that not facade, but in that direction. They're adding the extreme difficulty mode and sliders as to how difficult you want to make it for yourself in certain aspects, and allowing the what is it called, the XP counter to kind of adjust based on how you have it set up, which is really
Mhm.
an interesting take on it. So you can't just kind of, I guess, cheat your way through it.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
which is
figure out a way to, but
somebody will,
yeah.
somebody will. So, question: what difficulty? When you first played Starfield, what difficulty did you have it on, and what are you playing on now?
When I first got Starfield, I turned it on hard difficulty, and after I beat the game, I turned it on very hard, like the hardest I could have it. But
Yeah.
still, but it was still kind of still too easy. I still die very, very rarely.
Hmm.
Especially when it came to 'cause there's an abundance of lower enemies.
Yes.
So when I'd find a high level enemy, it'd be like, all right, finally it's on, you know? But it
Yeah.
wasn't that often, and it'd be maybe one out of the 12 enemies. that was like
Mhm.
around my level. Because I'm an 87 right now. So like every once in a while I'd find like a 90, a 95, a 72, or something like that. And I'd be like, all right, sweet. I can actually possibly get something good from this person.
Yeah.
So
Said you're an
for me,
87?
it wasn't difficulty that was as much of a problem as just finding my level of enemies.
Yeah. Hopefully that's something that they address. I would assume that's something that gets addressed when you're adding an extreme difficulty. But you said you're 87?
Yeah.
I wonder what I am. Hold on a second. I'm about to check that for myself real quick. I am a man. Where do I find this at? Oh, level 70. I'm a level 70. So you're a higher level than me. And yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like there's moments you'll go a while without running into somebody your level and you'll just be mopping people for the most part. But yeah, as for myself, I think I started playing Starfield on normal. I think now I'm on very, very hard. And that's just especially going back. Listen, I don't know how much of Fallout you've been playing. I know you've been playing a pretty good amount of it, but
I'm level 19 in Fallout 4 right now, so I've been working. I definitely been
yeah.
working. I was super proud, but I got my shit rocked for a while getting the Tesla cannon.
That's oh nice. That's
So I
nice,
have
dude.
that gun now and it mops.
Yes, it does. That gun is
But goodness
pretty OP.
gracious, I got mopped trying to get it because that dude was a dead eye. Like if you
Oh
just
yeah,
moved just slightly in his vision, he got you.
yeah.
So like I felt like such a bum ass noob. But like what I did was I like ended up like getting like my best rifle. I reloaded it and I just got to stabbing myself. I was just like Med-X right now here and stem pack because I'm so low on health there and psycho here
Oh
and
yeah.
jet 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 jet. It was like fucking I slowed down time so many times and just walked dead in front of that guy with my assault rifle. I upped that bitch and I was just like pow, 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 right in the fucking face. Like I got so close that bro couldn't shoot me. He had to melee me, right?
That's great.
So yeah, I did that. I had to do that like twice to take him completely down because he's not an easy guy to kill.
No.
So like I shot him in the head at what felt like fucking 30 times. Like I emptied a clip on his face.
He just ate it.
Yeah, he just ate that shit, and when I got him down, I remember leaning forward and being like, "Yes, like he's fucking
Yep.
done. Like get out of here, you piece of shit."
Now you got your weapon, but like I don't know what difficulty you play in Fallout on.
I'm sorry, what's that?
What difficulty are you playing Fallout on?
Oh, I think I'm just playing that on normal.
Yeah. So cuz like the disparity between difficulty on Starfield and Fallout. Like I guess it makes sense because Fallout the world just seems so much more fucked, for lack of a better word. So I guess the difficulty disparity makes sense. But dude, very hard on Starfield is not very hard.
Right.
Normal, dude. I'm playing on hard on Fallout 4. That shit is tough. That shit is sometimes just demonic. I couldn't imagine playing on the next difficulty, and then also they have a survival mode or whatever it's called on Fallout 4. I couldn't imagine playing on that. So
Yeah, I'm all set. I'm not doing that.
I don't blame you. I'm not trying to do. I
This
do
is
want to
my
try.
first time playing Fallout 2. Well, it's not like my first time, but it's like my first like true experience of Fallout and kind of understanding what's going on, doing the missions, understanding my navigation. Like Like the first time I played it back in 2015, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't understand. Like I remember like being angry back in 2015 because I didn't understand how to get the machine going. I'd get into it and it'd always be empty, and you'd be walking super slow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'd just be like, oh my god, like it drove me insane back in 2015 because I was just like, dude, like, what do I need gas? Like, what the hell do I need for this thing? And I wasn't reading shit because like I was only because back in 2015 I was mostly playing just multiplayer games and stuff like that. So I wasn't like a big single player. The closest to single player games I was playing was like Borderlands back then. So like it had single player, but it also had a massive multiplayer complex to it. So
Yeah.
I played I played single player games, but linear ones, like ones that like were very simple. The closest to like open world games I played back then was, or I mean, I did play open world games, but the closest to like RPG at all, which it isn't really an RPG in that aspect, was like Grand Theft Auto and stuff like that. Like those were the kind of single player games that I was playing back in the day. I didn't play very or single player open world games. I didn't really play deep RPG games that have all those remember your choices and stuff like that elements to it.
Yeah. So also to this whole update thing for Fallout, not for Fallout. My God, I'm thinking about Fallout.
Starfield.
For Starfield, you also have the ability to respec your character on New Game Plus, respec your traits specifically on
And
New
the way
Game
you
Plus.
look.
And change, yeah, exactly, and change your appearance every time you start New Game Plus. You can change your appearance if that's something you want to do. But respecing your traits is big because I don't know how many times you beat the game. I know it's more than me. I think I've gone through it 4 times at this point. But it would be nice to be able to respec my traits and like pick different things so that my playthrough is a little bit different. My dialogue choices can be a little bit different. So thankfully, we'll be getting that. And then also in this little video that they did, actually, well, yeah, let's talk about it because also in this little video that they did, they mentioned the fact that not in this update this month, but at some point down the road, the way they were talking about it made it seem like with the Shattered Space expansion coming in fall 2024, we will be getting land vehicles for Starfield. And this was, I believe you complained about this. I know Vinny complained about this. A lot of
I
people
complain a lot about this.
Yeah, a lot of people complain about this. So I want to get your thoughts. You're obviously excited for a land vehicle and Starfield, and I know like the traversal for a lot of people isn't the best because you just like for me, all I do for traversal in that game is I just take an amp and mix it with whatever other shit makes you run fast, and that's my traversal. So having a vehicle for me, like I'm excited. I'm excited about it, but like it wasn't. I wasn't complaining about it the same way other people were complaining about it. So I'm going to go to you. What are your thoughts on the land vehicle? Did you see the footage of the land vehicle? By the way, they was showed like a.
Yeah, I was actually gonna, bam, put it on the screen right there, just to kind of play and repeat.
There you go. There you go.
But like, yeah, I'm gonna be very forward with you on this one.
Go for it.
I seen on Twitter when I logged into Twitter, the first thing I seen was Everborn. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Everborn, really good dude.
Yeah.
He said the first thing he said was there's 60 FPS in Starfield. And I was like, that's cool. They must have just had an update. Let me go check it out. So I went and checked it out. And I can't lie, like my fingers were crossed the whole fucking time I was listening to that video, right?
Oh yeah.
And they're like, it's 60 FPS for Starfield on Series X console, and and they got the difficulty mode and everything like that, and they were like kind of going into all that, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I remember specifically touching my phone to see how much time was left, and I seen 3/4 of the video was up, and they were just finishing up talking to the two bald gentlemen, right?
Yeah.
And right when she finished talking to him, I remember like kind of hanging my head a little bit, like, God damn it. Like I just wanted to hear about traversal in any aspect at all. And then the interviewer walked up to the dude looking like he had just got done golfing.
He does. He does.
Yeah, he looks like he's just like getting ready to hit the course.
He's on the
Or
PGA
something like
Tour.
that. Like he's still positive. He obviously hadn't played his game of golf yet. Haven't got disappointed. But like he comes onto the screen and she's like, "Is there anything else?" And I'm like tightly holding my fingers crossed at that moment, right? And he's like, Bethesda's working on their first ever vehicle, and I went I screamed a little bit in my apartment just alone. I was just like, yes, yes, yes. And then you got to see that like 2-second clip of like a vehicle traversing, and I was just the first thing I was thinking in my head was like Mad Max.
Yeah, it gives off the vibes, especially the
Yeah,
sand
it gave off the vibe of Mad Max. And you know what? I don't love the traversal of Mad Max, but I'll fucking take it. I'll fucking take it at this point because it like the traversal kind of reminded me of Mad Max Das Rage, which is another Bethesda game, you know? And I didn't mind the traversal and Rage, but I thought the Mad Max traversal was a little weird. I think honestly the traversal was weird for me in Mad Max because of the frame rate, and then once I got it to 120 on Mad Max, I was like, "Oh, this is great."
Yes.
I think it was just the frame rate that, like, maybe the pacing that felt weird. It wasn't nothing was actually wrong with the driving. It was just kind of like the frames.
It felt delayed at 30 FPS. It felt like you were moving a second slower than you were.
Right. It felt very similar to like GTA 4 driving, where everything just felt like it was like mistimed a little bit when you're moving around and whatnot. But yeah, once it got it up bumped up to 120, I was like, all right, we're cooking. But here, yeah, I'm just looking at this over and over and over, and I'm just like, Starfield, you came through and you gave me everything I wanted for Christmas. That's what it felt like, because like people had the oh, all right, there's only one thing I maybe might want from Starfield that I can't get, that I probably won't get at all, but it's like being able to like, land yourself on a planet, or to be able to have some kind of cutscenes that kind of go away. Kind of like the one cutscene that really bothers me probably the most is getting into your ship. Like I wish that was more fluid.
Okay, yeah, like docking and undocking and shit.
Docking, undocking, but also like going from Jemison to walking into my ship. I wish it was just clean and wasn't like a moment of load in between the two moments.
Gotcha.
Like I almost wish it was like what it's like when you open the door and it's like pressurized, like releasing the pressure, opening it, and then you get into that middle section.
Yeah.
Like I almost wish it was like, I know it's actually longer that way, but I actually wish it was like that. I wish I had like the option to either get into the cockpit or to get in like I get into the buildings on some of these maps where it's kind of like that pause in between.
Okay. Yeah, I get that for sure. You're talking about like how you enter those like prefabs and stuff that you just randomly find. That
Yeah,
like
where it says locked on it, and then you open it, and it like
yeah,
depressurizes, and
yeah. Okay, I get you. I see what you mean there. But there's also I don't know if this was something that bothered you, and it didn't really bother me at all. But they're also changing the fact that or giving you the option to change like the NPC interactions and how like whenever you're talking to an NPC on Starfield, it just does the close up of their face.
yeah, it allows you to
They're
stay
change.
in your preferred
Yes,
vision mode if you
yes,
wish. To toggle
yes.
now.
Exactly. And now, I want to ask: is that even something? Are you going to take advantage of that? Because I've honestly, like, when I played Starfield, I didn't even think about that. Like, I hadn't even had the thought of it. And I guess it's cool that they're adding it, but are you going to take advantage of that?
I don't know if I'm gonna take advantage of it because I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
To be honest, I liked how it went to like first person, and I could like really see the detail of the character that I'm talking to and stuff like that. So like the only thing that has me interested at all is maybe and I don't know if this is a problem now because I don't really remember, but maybe it'll let you be more loose and free flowing for like photo mode
Yeah.
or something like that. Just seeing that you're already kind of in that perspective going into the conversation. But I don't really remember it bothering me in photo mode before.
Okay.
Because photo mode is pretty like I feel like Starfield has a really good photo mode. The only thing that they don't have is as many like ways of making your character look like
Poses.
poses and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I wish it had more poses, but other than that, I felt like Starfield's photo mode is like one of the better ones that I've used.
Yes.
You can take some fucking amazing photos.
You can. The game just generally looks fucking great, honestly. So
Sure, I'll put a photo on the screen here in just a moment. Go on ahead.
that definitely helps. But I mean, yeah, the big Starfield update coming later this month, May 15th, and then obviously Shattered Space expansion, and then I'm assuming with that we'll probably get the land vehicles. That would be in fall 2024. So yeah, I don't know, maybe September, somewhere around September, October, we're looking at for that. And I'm definitely looking forward to that because I really, really want a new Starfield story. I thought the story in Starfield was the strongest story Bethesda's ever done. Um, and if that's any indicator of what we can expect from the shattered space expansion, then shit, I'm excited. I'm really excited for that. So
Yeah, it definitely feels like I'm playing Fallout 4 and now, bouncing to Starfield and kind of going back and forth. The Fallout game is definitely more loose when it comes to the story about like how you take care of things. It
mhm,
feels like Starfield's story is like it's supposed to give you some options, but it's kind of more purposeful.
yes,
As
it,
for like Fallout, it's kind of like up to you. Very
yeah,
it's very like Fallout is like RPG. It's like it's like your RPG's fans' favorite RPG kind of thing, right? But
yeah,
but Starfield's kind of like it's an RPG, sure, but it reminds you like, hey, we definitely got to kind of stay on the track of telling this story, in because it's gonna end very specific ways depending on how you
mhm,
choose here, and each one of them is just as important as the other one.
yeah. Like
Yeah, I haven't reached the end of Fallout 4, so I can't tell you like how it feels when you end that game. Maybe you can kind of expand better on that than I can.
So I would agree with your sentiment. Fallout 4 is definitely it's definitely a more open story. It feels like I don't feel pressed. Like whenever I get a main mission in Fallout, I don't feel pressed that I have to do it. Versus there's multiple times in Starfield, especially, and you know what I'm talking. I'm not going to give any spoilers away. Just in case, for whatever reason you haven't played it, I'm not going to give any spoilers away. But like, there's multiple times in Starfield. Like, I think the one big specific one that you probably know about for sure, and most people know about if you played Starfield, is the choices one of the big choices you have to make when there's an attack. One of the big choices you have to make, and it puts you in that situation and makes you feel like, okay, you got to deal with this shit now. You technically don't have to, but the way the story is told, it makes you feel like, okay, I got to deal with this. This is a problem I need to fix right now. Whereas in Fallout, you're not really put in that situation. It's kind of like, here's the story. Tackle it as you please at your own leisure. Abdi in the chat says no 60 FPS on Series S is fine with me. Yeah, I don't think 60 FPS. I just don't think it's possible on Series S. I think what they managed to do with Starfield on the Series S is miraculous. I don't know how you would get 60 FPS running on the Series S. I just don't think it's possible. He also says Fallout 4 was broken on Series S for me. The Steam version is also broken for me. Okay, so from what I understand, the Steam version, this latest update broke a lot of things with the PC version of the game. Fixed a lot of stuff on console, broke a lot of things on PC, including mods. If you had mods on PC, all that stuff is broke. Fallout 4 on Series S before this update, I agree with you. It's kind of a known fact. Fallout 4 was just broken on Series S. You just couldn't play it at 60 FPS. And even at 30 FPS, you really couldn't play it. It would freeze a lot of times. So for sure, you're spot on with that. Hopefully they get the Steam version sorted out after this update and everything. He says, I sold my Series S and moved on to PC. Yeah, I feel like as the generation's gone on, I feel like a lot of people are kind of like, not even just the Series S. I feel like a lot of people are moving. Like even people within my friend group are moving from console to PC. I feel like that's kind of a natural thing for a lot of people this generation. They're finding out. So
yeah, I feel fortunate to be able to already have had a PC. So like having a Series S isn't like a bother. And having the Series X is definitely not a bother to me. But like the PC is kind of like my when all else fails kind of platform, right? Like if the Series X isn't giving me what I want, and if the Series X ain't giving me what I want, the Series S definitely ain't gonna give me what I want.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to have a PC in that aspect, and it's very rare that happens, but it does.
Mm-hmm.
But it does happen, and that's why I have something of this nature, right?
Yeah.
So like, for instance, like, and you could say, well, I know some people are, looking at this like, oh, that's him. So why don't you just get a PlayStation? I'd have a PlayStation, right? And let me riddle you this: if I play Dragon's Dogma on my PlayStation, it's 30 FPS. If I play it on my Xbox Series S or X, 30 FPS. Guess where I bought it? PC.
Get that on PC, buddy.
I got it on PC and said, you know what? To hell with the consoles this time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing it right here on my PC. No problem.
Yeah. 100%.
And then on top of it, then I can use it on my Steam Deck. So like for me, it's like first and foremost, I want to buy it on my Xbox, but if I can't, I'll get it on my PC because on my PC, then I have the opportunity, not to say it's going to work, but then I have the opportunity to play it on my Steam Deck.
Yeah, you can give it a shot.
My
Plus, I
whole
mean,
thing, my whole thing as a gamer now compared to last generation and the prior generations before that is ecosystem. I've went from a console guy to an ecosystem guy. That's
mhm,
what I am now. I'm an ecosystem guy.
yeah. What did you got to do whatever works for you, whatever gives you the most possible ways to play is pretty much that's kind of where I'm at. That's why I have no issue like with Dragon's Dogma. You mentioned it. I'll buy it on Steam because if I want to, if I want to see what it looks like on Steam Deck, I can do it. Um, Same with like when I buy a game on Xbox, especially a first party game, I can play it on Xbox. I can play it on PC. With Windows on Steam Deck or with any of the other handhelds, you can play it on those as well. Um, yeah, I'm glad you bring that up. Fallout 4 was not designed to run past 60 FPS on PC. I need a I'm not sure what you mean there. I need a Steam to even play Fallout 4. But you're right on that first part. Fallout 4, if you run it past 60 FPS on PC, even with this latest update, animations are just busted. Like everything is in super ultra fast motion. So like if you're running the game at 90 FPS, um, you need a Steam Deck to even play. Yeah, Fallout 4 on Steam Deck is great. I haven't tried it on Steam since the update, but I do, like I said, I do know that it busted a lot of people's game on Steam. But yeah, if you run that game at like 90 FPS on your PC, all the animations are busted. You'll be reloading ultra fast. Your running animation will be ultra fast. It just completely breaks all animations in the game. So that's something I don't know if that's ever going to be fixed for Fallout 4 at this point because we're almost 10 years later. I don't think that's getting fixed at this point. But yeah, it is what it is. Enjoy the PC, Abdi. Enjoy the PC. If that's what's making you happy, buddy, have all the fun in the world. But to end out the whole Starfield topic, I wanna ask you, Ham, are you are you because there's a lot of people online who share this sentiment, and some of them are joking, just poking fun, and it is what it is on Twitter. But there's some people on Twitter who are suggesting that I mean I should be upset about Starfield at 60 FPS on console because I guess the whole thing people were saying whenever the game came out was that it was their creative decision to make it 30 FPS. And
Yeah.
now that it's 60 FPS, apparently you should be upset that they're compromising their creative decision. And again, I know some of these people are bullshitting, but I've seen some serious tweets about this shit. And I think it's dumb as hell. So I'm gonna pass it off to you. Are you upset? Let me ask you, him. Are you upset that you're going to be able to play Starfield at 60 FPS this month on your console? Are you upset about this?
Oh, fucking! I'm fuming. I'm very angry. I'm having a bad time. Just this news is knocked my socks off. Is like I don't understand. Like you could literally say the entire world is eating today. Nobody's missing a meal, and someone's gonna find a reason to complain. Oh, how about the trash? There's gonna be trash everywhere. It's like, what about the trash? Like, I mean, there's an argument to be had about anything, even if it like is extremely positive. In this aspect, it's just like, what do you want me to say? Like, oh man, Bethesda listened to the people. Shame on them. Like, that's what they're supposed to do. Right?
Yes.
Like you're supposed to adjust to what the fans want or need. The implementation was of the vehicle. That wasn't their plan,
Mhm.
right? That wasn't their creative vision. right? Their creative
Yeah.
vision was you hop your ass everywhere. But what had happened was a lot of people said, "Hey, I'm getting kind of tired of hippity hopping and everywhere." And they're like, "Okay, well, how much does it bug you?" And they're like, "It bugs me a fucking lot." So then they made the smart idea of saying, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna put a vehicle in the game."
Yeah.
You know what else wasn't in their creative vision? An FOV slider early on in the game dropping.
Yep.
That wasn't part of their creative vision. They implemented it. Why didn't anybody have a problem then?
I don't know. It's a good question, isn't it?
Right?
Fair
Oh
question.
no, the creative vision now, now this, now it looks a little different when you pull the slider back all the way. It messes with the way the game looks. Not their vision, but nobody argued about that. So I don't know. To me it just sounds like, it just sounds I, I'm interested in how many people that are complaining about this played the game. Or
Yeah.
or not only played it, but like played a good amount of it. Like, because you don't have to beat it. This game is long, right? There's a
That's huge.
lot to play. You can play days on end of this game without beating it. So I'm
Look
not
at
gonna say
Cozy.
how many people beat the game. Let me check and see how many. No, I'm just curious, as in like, if 60 FPS is bothering you, I'm wondering, do you have days into this game? Do you have hours into this game, or are you just trying to like get people angry? And I don't even know how you like try to get somebody mad about that.
Yeah. It's in bad faith.
Like I just left food on that motherfucker's doorstep. I bet he's gonna be fucking angry when he gets
It's gonna
home.
be
It's just like
livid.
you get home and the guy's like, "Oh, sweet, I got some little Debbie's, I got soda,
Yeah.
and I got a little thank you note in here from somebody just giving me food." And the person's like hiding around the corner. Oh man, he should really not like that. Somebody gave him some food. Like
Yep.
this motherfucker knows that I know his address. And I was like, no, nobody cares. He doesn't care. He's just like, oh, I'll take this shit. This is dope. I'm gonna see
Yep.
who the fuck gave it to me before I ate it, before I eat it. But like I don't understand how I'm supposed to be getting mad about something that's done in good faith and done
Mhm.
to keep me in the game longer. And then at the same time, it's like, oh no, it's not the creative vision. Well, you know what? Then don't touch the slider.
Yep. Don't take advantage of anything they add post launch. Don't
You know
do
what I
any of
mean?
that.
You
So in fact,
you do understand you can play it the regular way if you want
yeah.
to.
In fact, what you should do, honestly, is take your console offline and never allow it to update the game. Don't ever allow it to update the game. You have the game that it launched as, that was the creative vision, and that's what you play from now on. That's just, if that's how you really feel about it. But I'll be in the chat says Starfield had a smooth 30 FPS on Series X and S, and you're absolutely right, it did. He said play Dragon's Dogma 2 on console if you want a bad 30 FPS. I'll one up you on that. I'll say play Redfall at launch if you want a bad 30 FPS on console.
That's the worst 30.
Because that was fucking horrendous. That was very, very bad at
That's
launch.
mad disrespectful.
It was. It was really
Xbox
disrespectful.
doing that. I still like am not happy about last year and how they did that. How they did Redfall like that. Like shame on Like Xbox is my joint. That's my platform. But fucking shame on Xbox for allowing that to happen. Like that's like allowing your kid to go like jump out of your car naked going into school. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? like, and what is going on at home? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how did this happen?
Bunch of dirt in their hair. They're like, what's his name? Donnie from Wild Thornberries, that little kid. Just
Right. Just hop out in draws only. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Somebody call CPS.
my God.
This kid doesn't speak English and he's 8. What's happening?
This boy was raised in the jungle. But yeah, I think Redfall, like the worst 30 FPS you probably ever see on console, outside of like the PS3 360 generation, was Redfall at launch. I mean, now it's fixed and everything. You know what I need to do? I need to play Redfall again.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to do that with you as well.
Yeah, after they did all these things, because
I want to play it on console specifically.
Yes, I want to boot that up on both the Series S and the Series X, because like I played a little bit after they did the 60 FPS update, and it's smooth as fuck now. It's just I want to do a full playthrough of the game and see if my opinion changes on it.
Let's finish my playthrough, because remember we beat yours.
Yeah, I'm down. I'll have to re-download the game tonight after the show.
I'll be down to do that.
But we talked, about 50 minutes on Starfield. When the big news, I mean, Starfield's big news, but the biggest news this week is the announcement of Xbox's game showcase June 9th. Go for it. Sunday, June 9th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Let me go ahead and bring this up on the screen for you guys so y'all can see what I'm talking about here. Xbox Game Showcase, followed by Redacted Direct, airs June 9th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Now, the whole redacted thing, listen, people put it together pretty quick that they're talking about Call of Duty. It has not been confirmed by Xbox themselves that it is Call of Duty. But I mean, you look at that logo, that's Cerberus from Call of Duty. I feel like it's pretty safe to say we're getting a Call of Duty Direct this year after the Xbox showcase. So look forward to that for sure. But I wanted to bring this up because I know I've got some things that I really, really want to see from this showcase. I 3 things in particular. I mean, I got a lot, but there's 3 things in particular that I really want to see from this Xbox showcase. And I also want to ask Cam, once he gets back, what he wants to see from this Xbox showcase. But I think the biggest thing for me, I'm gonna just kick it off here. The biggest thing for me I want to see from this, oh man, is something that's already been reported, honestly, and that's Gear 6. Would be my number one thing I want to see from this. It sounds like it's all but confirmed that we're going to be seeing Gear 6. So I feel like that's a safe bet. But I want to toss it to you, Ham. I'm doing 3 things I want to see from this. What are 3 things and if you want to go more than 3, feel free. Go on ahead. What do you want to see from this Xbox game showcase on June 9th?
All right. Let's see. Man, that's a lot. Like, I don't even know where to start. Because you know what's funny is Hellblade's gone.
Yep, Hellblade will be out by then.
Nothing to talk about there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting that's going to be not there anymore, right? Because we've been seeing that since the launch, right? We've been seeing
since
that
2020.
Yeah, since 2020, we've been seeing Hellblade being shown off and whatnot. So no more of that. I think it'd be really interesting, and I mean, I'm reaching into my bag right now. like I don't have any particular full on expectations for this, but it's very interesting. The things that I'm going to bring up. So State of Decay. I'd like to see what's going on with that. If there's anything to be shown about that. Everwild from Rare. What's going on over under the hood over at Rare right now? I mean, come on, Mr. Quadruple A Studio. Let's see what's happening with Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
Let me dip a little bit further into my bag. How about the Wu-Tang game.
Dude, whatever. I wonder if that's, dude, I want to see that because it's an RPG.
Yeah, Brass Lion or something like that is supposed to be working on that game. And I'm still wondering what the heck is going on with it. I'd also like to see more um or more of like an action trailer of the upcoming and with a release date of Avowed.
Yeah, that's
I'd like
true.
to
We
see
need a
that.
release date. Yeah.
Yeah. Abdi in the chat says Indiana Jones Avowed, Towerborn, need dates. Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
What else will be coming out soon that we'll finally be done having to talk about? Which I feel like they may say something about it or have something is the game by the Ukraine studio.
Oh, Stalker 2.
Stalker 2. Yeah. Art of
Yeah.
Chernobyl.
We actually just got it. We just got recently, I believe they just released another trailer for it.
Yeah, it was a really
Look,
short trailer of them like on top of like a building or something like that talking. So it is a very short trailer.
yeah, it wasn't anything huge, but
It
yeah,
was
I do
really
hope we
short.
see that.
I'm also anticipating something to do with Call of Duty.
Well,
So like the brand new Call of Duty mixed with, oh, by the way, we have all these Call of Duty games to play now or something like that. Like I feel
yeah.
like an update in that aspect will be coming.
So did you see? Because I mentioned it briefly, but I know you had to step away. Did you see the people speculating, pretty much putting together that the redacted direct is for Call of Duty?
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I figured that much.
yeah, because
I feel like Microsoft's kind of trolling with that a little bit
yeah,
on purpose. There's nothing to redact.
no, especially because I'm not that well versed in Call of Duty, and I didn't know the name of that logo off the top of my head, but I did see that logo, and I'm like, that was in Black Ops before. So I saw that, and I'm like, okay, that's obviously Call of Duty. And then everybody pointed out that's Cerberus from Call of Duty. I'm like, okay, that's okay. We're getting Call of Duty direct. So puts into perspective how Microsoft feels about Call of Duty as a franchise. You know, they've only done this will be their second direct. The first one was for Starfield. Starfield was huge. And as huge as Starfield is, realistically, Call of Duty is even bigger. So and Microsoft knows that, and that's exactly why they're getting it's getting its own direct after the show. Abdi in the chat says Fallout or Elder Scrolls remake or HD remaster. Listen, if that happens, I will be ecstatic. I'm not I'm not holding my breath for it, but God, do I want it to happen. Um, but I'm sorry, Ham. You did you have another one after that?
I mean, I'm really just like thinking of stuff at this point. Like I really don't know.
Yeah. So I did a little bit of recording for a video today, which will be out Friday. But the three things that I mentioned Gears 6, I said that already. I want to see Fable gameplay. We saw very small snippets of Fable gameplay in the
Ooh,
trailer they
maybe
showed
South of
last.
Midnight.
Yes, South of Midnight would be there. But the third one I mentioned, and I feel like the obvious choice would have been
Is it
Perfect Dark.
in Exile?
It's an Exile. It's Clockwork Revolution.
Okay.
It's Clockwork Revolution. Because I felt like the obvious choice would be Perfect Dark. Because dude, they announced Perfect Dark in like 2020. We have not seen a single other trailer for it since. So I feel like obviously we need to see that. But selfishly, if I had to choose, I mean, honestly, the answer would be why not both. But if I had to choose between Perfect Dark or Clockwork Revolution, which one do I want to see? I'm sorry, Perfect Dark, but it's Clockwork Revolution. It's
I'm
and
the other way. I'm the other way than that. I'd rather see Perfect
Perfect
Dark
Dark.
because My whole thing is like I've been playing a crap ton of RPGs,
Oh yeah.
and I'm okay to wait a little bit for Clockwork to get Perfect Dark. If
Yeah.
I'm being honest, 'cause I wouldn't mind something that's a little bit more straightforward and like its own story.
Hmm. Oh, Abdi says, how about Double Fine's next game? That's interesting because Psychonauts 2 was what, 2021, end of 2021?
Yeah, and I
Uh,
do know that oh boy, Tim Schafer, is that right?
yes, Tim Schafer.
Yeah, old boy Tim Schafer. I know that he did say that they're working on something totally different now.
Oh, interesting.
I
Yeah, I'd be
heard him say
interested to
that
see
a
what it is.
while back that they don't want because somebody had asked them to do like Banjo Kazooie,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and he said that he didn't want to, that they wanted to work on something new and original. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that kind of tells you right there that something new is going to come from there.
Yeah, I think so.
You know what would
Uh,
be mad interesting? Oh, Abdi says Contraband. Yo, I've been waiting to see some Contraband. But
yeah.
so that's a good that's a good catch right there. But something that I'd be a little interested in hearing about is maybe a new IP out of Activision that they're planning on working on that has nothing to do with Call of Duty or Overwatch or
That
Diablo.
would be awesome. That would
I'd like to
how
hear
could be
something
a dream
about
come true?
that, like a new game coming from them, big budget that they're like looking to work on, or at least like yeah, some sort of big budget, decent game. Last thing I'm gonna say before I'm done, just kind of throwing out random stuff, and I know I alluded to old Call of Duty games, but I want to hear more about like what other backwards compatible games that they're possibly thinking about bringing over to Game Pass.
Mhm.
Because as you see, they were talking recently about like like future or current compatibility and backwards compatibility for games and stuff like
Yes.
that. Like Sarah Bond was talking about that. And
Yep.
I'm assuming she's kind of alluding a little bit to like the next generation of console mixed with the compatibility of this generation.
Mhm.
Seeing that like, something like the PS4 from the PS3 generation, you could say, during the PS3 that was current gen, but PS4 then just kind of said screw it. Screw
Yeah.
PS3. We're only PS4 now. And I mean, Xbox has been pretty good at backwards compatibility, but they haven't been like as good. They've never been as good as they were from like 360 going into or from the Xbox going into the 360. 'Cause that
Yeah.
backwards compatibility was pretty much like whatever you want to play.
Yes. 100%. I
The best
I
backwards compatibility was the PS3, though. I'll give that one to them because they had
yeah, the
3
original fat
generations
one.
worth of games.
Yes, that original fat PS3, which I want. I got a PS3. When was that? Like 2 summers ago or a summer ago? I can't remember. I got a PS3. I wanted the fat one that did the PS2 and PS1 games, but unfortunately, yeah, I had to get a slim because they were.
Kanye got his ears to the ground. You see that right here?
Matt Booty mentioned Perfect Dark and State of Decay should be getting deep dives in 2024 some time ago. I hope so. I hope so.
I'd
I'm
love to
really
see it.
interested. I'm really interested to see State of Decay. I mean, I think of those two, I'm more interested in Perfect Dark as a game, but I'm interested to see
Right.
State of Decay because I
I
think
100% agree. Same.
I think they set a bar with State of Decay with that. I know it was just CGI and stuff, but they set a bar intentionally with that trailer that
Right. And it's
I want to
nothing
see
like
what
the
they do.
other stated decay.
It didn't
Like,
look
like in the
anything like
sense
that.
of like graphics and fidelity. Like if you look
Yes.
at State of Decay 2, and then you look at the trailer for State of Decay 3, you're just like,
You're like, all right.
what engine are they using for this one? Because this doesn't look
Yeah.
the same as this at all.
Exactly. I'm trying to see what that looks like because I think the easy thing would be like, oh yeah, it was just CGI, but here's how the game really looks, and then it looks like a better version of State of Decay 2. But I feel like you set yourself up with that trailer. That I as someone who doesn't even play State of Decay,
Right.
I'm gonna be looking at you kind of weird if you come out with State of Decay 3 and it's like, here's just a slightly prettier version of State of Decay 2. I'll be looking at you kind of weird after that first trailer. So I really want to see what they're cooking with that, because and just like Perfect Dark, we ain't seen State of Decay for years at this point. So I mean, hopefully this sometime in 2024. Hopefully that's this showcase in 2024. Because listen, if we got State of Decay, Perfect Dark, Fable gameplay, if we got all the stuff that we saw in 2020, but gameplay for all of it, I'd be ecstatic. Forget the fact that we're.
No, go ahead. Finish up, and then I'll say what.
No, I was going to say, forget the fact that we can still expect new stuff that hasn't been announced yet, stuff coming in the future, maybe even hardware announcements and stuff. But forget all that. Just show me everything from the 2020 showcase, gameplay. I'll be happy. I'll be ecstatic.
Sure. I like where Ty's head's at with the last chat that he said, because it's very, very possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay, he says State of Decay is Xbox's biggest potential. Could be The Last of Us meets open world. Last of Us meets open world multiplayer. Like, it has, like, as much as I'm not into State of Decay, it has its following. Even if you want to call it a cult following, it has a very loyal following online. Like, a lot of people love State of Decay. If they can broaden that out and make it appeal to more people while also keeping those main fans happy, that will be a huge IP for Xbox. Especially capitalizing, like you mentioned it, Last of Us. Like, Last of Us is super popular right now because that show last year, and then also we're getting a season 2. When's that? Like 2025, I think we're getting season 2. But like, it's an end thing right now. So capitalizing off of that, it could be huge for Xbox. It has the potential to be huge for Xbox if they do it right, and hopefully they do. I mean, they've had enough time, so hopefully they do it right for State of K3. But for sure, man, I 100% agree with that.
I mean, I don't know if I agree with like the biggest potential part, but I do 100% agree with having something to rival The Last of Us would be really interesting. It kind of give me that like old school feel that you used to have with Call of Duty and Battlefield.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Where it was like, oh, this game has the better campaign this year, but the other game has the better multiplayer, or the other way around, or something like that. Like it seemed like back in the 360 days, like you could say that Battlefield was always kind of behind Call of Duty when it came to multiplayer, but you could never say that about like the campaign. Like sometimes the campaign, especially like when it came to like people with bad company and stuff like that, like those were big time single player games.
Yes, really good ones too. So I mean, they have a really good opportunity with State of Decay. I hope they capitalize on it. I'm definitely interested to see more of it. Like I said, between Perfect Dark and State of Decay, I think gameplay wise, I would be more into Perfect Dark, but I absolutely am more interested in seeing State of Decay than Perfect Dark, just because they set the bar pretty high with that CGI trailer that they kicked it off with. But that is the end of the top. Actually, you know what? Hey, let's talk pretty quickly about this whole Stellar Blade thing, because I'm not going to dive too hard into this, but there's a petition online to hashtag free Stellar Blade. And I'll tell you what, it's given some of the most cringe content I've probably ever seen online. I showed Ham that one video. Listen. First of all, Ham, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the petition to hashtag free Stellar Blade? Are you passionate about freeing Stellar Blade?
Like the petition itself doesn't really bother me as much as it's like this is what we're like storming the Capitol for. Like that's the thing that bothers me about it. Like it's because I understand like people not being happy with the whole idea of censorship in games because I'm one of those I'm one of the people that say, hey, if a game wants to build this, let it happen and let the sales dictate whether the game should be around or not.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like the more you kind of censor or tell a game what to do, the less you're really allowing that game to do what it wants. And in exchange, you're kind of telling them how to create a game.
Yes.
So I mean, I don't like that. But like the passion behind this specific situation to me is ridiculous.
I 1000%
Like
agree with that.
I don't need this to be what changes gaming for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like in my opinion, I'm just like, where was like the petition for, people's jobs? Where were the petitions for, not having broken games at launch and all this other stuff? Like there's so many more important things, but we're signing petitions over a strip of skin.
Yes.
Like I think that's a little weird. But at the same time, that's the type of stuff that you see in the world nowadays. Like, we argue over the silly things and let the serious things fly right over our head. And just look at just look at the type of stuff that Congress votes on and stuff like that. We're still voting on the right of people being able to, choose to have a baby or not. Like to me, that's silly. Like, why are we arguing over this? It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the person that's dealing with it. But I need to have a say in it. That's weird.
Yeah.
like to me, that's weird. I don't want to vote on anybody's body.
Yeah.
So like, this is just one of those things where I'm being asked to vote on somebody's skin or something like that, and I just to me, there's just so many more things that could be tackled in the world that are much more important than this. But hey, that's the world that we live in.
I mean, there's much more important things that could be tackled in gaming. Forget the world. Just like if you want to keep it to just gaming, like you mentioned, broken games at launch. Like, why are you releasing a game before it's ready? Like, why are we not? Why are we like upset about that for like a couple days? But then when it comes to like, they're covering up a little bit of the cleavage on Stellar Blade, people come out of the woodwork, furious, like livid. Like,
It's wild.
why? Why are you guys like that? Like, I really only wanted to bring this up because I thought it was, and specifically, I'm not even going to go over it, but specifically that video, I sent you about that dude on this petition. I thought it was some of the most cringe shit I've ever seen in my life. Just like grown adults, just hardcore in their feelings about a little bit of cleavage being covered up in Stellar Blade. It's sad. It shouldn't matter this much, but apparently to a lot of people, apparently to over 17,000 people, it does matter that much, which is just shocking, quite frankly. But that was the final topic of the day. We've been going for a little bit over an hour. We're going to get up out of here. But before we do, Ham, let them know where they can find you. Let them know what you're up to. Let them know all that stuff.
Well, if you're looking, you can find me on TSWS Gaming. Other than that, you can find me on Twitter at hamsolo05 gaming. I might be doing a little bit of streaming later of like Zal Tales of Kanzera for like maybe an hour or two or something like that. I don't know, but
Nice.
but other than that, yeah, you can just find me on my channel, TSWS Gaming. That's it.
Sounds good. As for myself, you can find me here every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern for the Two Player Podcast. You can find me on Fridays over on Ham's channel for Bullsitting at 4 p.m. Eastern. My schedule's a little bit weird because I did just get a job doing some part-time stuff. So for a while, it might just be one video a week. I'm going to aim to have a video out. I know I'm going to have one out this Friday. I'm going to try to have a video out every Friday. I'm going to also try to stick to 2 videos a week, see how it goes, but we'll see how it goes. I'll figure it all out. But expect maybe less videos here and there on the channel, but I will have at least one video out every week, probably Friday every week. So look forward to that. You can also find me on Twitter at MattLikesGames. And yeah, that's where you can find me. We're going to hop up out of here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being in the chat. Whether you stop by for a second or whatever the case may be, we appreciate it. We will see you next week. Peace.